Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope that you're having a fabulous start to your week. Welcome back to our weekly Minks Monday Q&A. Before we get started, let me show the bag that I'm currently rocking, and that is the Louis Vuitton Speedy 30 in the Demi Azur. All right, so let's do this, shall we? Starting with the first question from Debbie M, and I've had quite a bit of coffee, if you couldn't tell, but starting with the first question from Debbie M. I know you've said you don't treat your bags. Why are you so against treating the leather? All right, so I do get this question asked quite a bit, and I can appreciate why people decide to treat their handbags. I know that some people aren't fond of seeing the patina if it gets too dark, or if they want to prevent water stains or stains in general, or if they want to have the leather be all one color, so that cohesive color. I completely get that. And it's not that I'm against it either. It's just that I absolutely love and I look forward to my handbag, to the leather changing color. So I do have a few different reasons. So the first one being, as I said before, I love the color. I love the aged leather. I love that honey golden patina that it gets. And even if it starts to get a little bit darker, I'm okay with that. Because I've said it before, I love the fact that these handbags tell a story. No two bags are the same. And I can always remember how the stain happened, if you will, if I got a water stain, and it automatically takes me back to when that happened. Case in point, this is kind of a little bit of a side story, and I will put a timestamp on the description box below because I have a feeling this might be a long answer, but I'll put a timestamp to the second question. The Louis Vuitton mini pochette. The entire time that I've had it, I feel like it's pretty much aged fabulously. I haven't had any issues with color transfer, water stains, or anything like that. Now, last week, my mom and I had a girls' day, and we had such a blast. One of the last places that we went to, we were looking at plants, we were looking at trees and stuff like that, and I decided to use the mini pochette instead of using a handbag. This is something that we've also talked about before. These are great for grab and go. So, anywho, I decided to use the mini pochette, and I had it on my wrist as a little wristlet. So while we're looking around at the trees and at the plants and stuff like that, I ended up picking up one of the pots, and they had just watered it. So I had a bunch of water on my hand. I really didn't think twice about it. But when I went to go pay, I ended up opening up the mini pochette, and I noticed that I had water stains on the leather tab. I won't lie to you. For a moment, I was like, oh no, I've had it this long and nothing's happened to it. And now it has a water stain, blah, blah, blah. You're not gonna be able to see it on the front side, but it has, you know, a little bit of a water stain on the back. So I was bummed out for a hot second. However, I will never, ever forget how it came to be, and the fact that I was with one of my favorite people on the planet makes it even better. So that's why I love the stains. I love the beauty marks because they add a story to each item. So reason number two, to me, I feel like when the leather hasn't changed, or when it's that very bright, untreated leather, or that bright vachetta, to me, it kind of reminds me of old school replicas. Now, I'm not sitting here bashing replicas. You know how I feel about them. Personally, they are not for me, but to each their own. But it does remind me of an old school replica. So I always look forward to that golden patina, that golden honey color that it gets. And even if it starts to get a little bit darker, as I said before, I'm okay with that. On that same note, I love how Louis Vuitton has started to incorporate the golden treated leather onto some of their pieces. I think that's awesome because it's the best of both worlds. Not only do you have a little bit of color to the leather, but it also makes it incredibly carefree. So what's not to love? But for me personally, I love the way that that leather ages. I love the fact that it tells a story. I love the fact that no two pieces are alike. So that to me just makes my heart flutter a little bit more. And when I can attach those memories and I can remember how it happened, how it went down, it just makes me incredibly happy. But I know not everyone sees it that way. But as I said before, it's not that I'm against it or anything like that, because if it brings you peace of mind treating your handbags, if you're able to enjoy it that much more, or if you live somewhere where it ends up raining all the time and you really just don't want Damier Ebene and you want monogram by treating the bag, It gives you that much more versatility, and that way you can incorporate it into your collection. I completely understand that, and I completely get that. But just for me personally, I want to see it change, and I look forward to the golden honey color that the monogram pieces and the Demi Azur pieces I've had in my collection will end up getting as time goes by. But I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. For those of you that treat your handbags, why did you decide to do it? Or for those of you that don't treat your handbags, why did you decide to do that? Let us know in the comment section down below. But fabulous, fabulous question. Next question from Marlene. What do you think is the biggest factor that determines the price of items on the pre-loved market, and why? This is a fantastic question. It's tough because I think that a lot of things stand out. The brand, the condition, is it discontinued, etc. I think that there's so many different factors. But the one that I feel, to me, stands out the most as to what ends up driving the prices on the pre-loved market, hands down, has got to be popularity. Popularity can make or break a handbag. Popularity causes a frenzy. Popularity ends up driving those numbers. However, popularity doesn't mean it's the right item either. And of course, that's all about personal preference. But there are so many items on the market right now that are insanely popular that I just don't get. I look at the item and I just think, is this a joke? Is everybody in on it except for me? Am I on candid camera type of thing? And some items just don't make sense. They don't make sense, but it's all a matter of personal preference, right? Because if we all like the same thing, it would be such a boring world. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that the brand, the condition, the fact that it's discontinued or details or things like that aren't factors, not at all. I just think that popularity ends up taking the cake. Think about it though. Let's take Louis Vuitton, for example. Let's say the mini pochette. The mini pochette is a small leather good that is insanely elusive. Louis Vuitton releases like one a month worldwide. I know I'm being dramatic, but just bear with me. So they release one a month, and even though it's something that it might cause us to stock the website for it, while we're stocking it and while it's not available, we might find something else on the website, and while still maintaining the mini pochette on our wish list. Right? So these pre-loved websites, they know this. They see that Louis Vuitton doesn't have these items readily available. They see that Louis Vuitton limits how many of these pieces they end up sending into production, or how many they end up sending to boutiques. And they see this as a golden opportunity. So that way, whenever they do get in a mini pochette, they're able to hike the price up. And there are some items on the pre-loved market that have no business selling for the prices that they have them for. I get the ones that are in excellent condition, in great condition, in good condition, but some I've seen that are just falling apart. The stitches are completely popped. It just looks like it looks like it has been through some things, and they still sell for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But it's a win-win, because the pre-loved company ends up making money, and they're also able to supply an item for someone that they have been actively looking for a long time, or they haven't had an opportunity to find at the boutique or what have you. So they're happy, they have their item, and the pre-loved website is happy because they were able to make more money. But it's crazy, because I honestly think that popularity is what drives the majority of prices when it comes to how they end up, what they end up selling these items for. I could be wrong, but just based off of what I've seen on the websites, that to me is what stands out the most. The other ones, as I said before, they do have a factor, but popularity ultimately is the one that I think ends up taking the cake, because the more that people want an item, the more money that's out there to be made, and these pre-loved websites thrive on that. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. What's the one factor that you feel ends up driving the prices on the pre-loved market? Whatever the case may be, let us know in the comment section down below. But this was an awesome question, and I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say. Next question from Raisa Kareem. Hopefully I said that correctly. What do you think of the mini and medium Lady Dior? Which would you go for? All right, so before I get any further, let me insert a picture of both of these bags side by side. I think that both of these bags are absolutely beautiful. The mini in the black lambskin comes in at $39.50 here in the States, and the medium in the black lambskin comes in at $4,900 here in the States. And as I said before, I think both of them are absolutely gorgeous. And I do appreciate different aspects of each. With the mini, you guys know how I feel about mini bags, nano bags. They're right up my alley. And with this one, I love the fact that it's a small bag, but it's not like you can only fit one item inside. It actually fits a lot more than people might think. So I think that's great. It's very deceiving. And this one comes with the mini comes with the chain removable strap. It doesn't have an adjustment to it, but I like the fact that it does have the leather tab at the top, so that way it makes it that much more comfortable. And I've heard people say that the chain on the mini is a little bit more generous, which I think is great, so that way it doesn't land too high up on the torso. But in general, the fact that you can either remove the strap and use it as a little mini handbag, or you can attach the strap and use it crossbody or on your shoulder, I think is great, and it brings a lot of versatility to the bag. But between the two, I actually lean more towards the medium. And for the longest time when I was thinking about the Lady Dior, I mean, I've been all over the place, you guys know this. For the longest time, I thought I wanted to go for the small because I thought it would be the best of both worlds for my collection or for my lifestyle. And the more research that I did, the more videos that I saw, I just appreciate the medium a lot more. I like the fact that I don't find it to be too large. I don't think it's too big, and I don't think it's too small. Yes, it's boxy, but that's one feature that I absolutely love. The medium also comes with a thin adjustable removable strap. So again, the fact that it has a little bit more versatility I think is wonderful. And I've even looked at the larges as well. The large might be a little too big for what I'm looking for, but between the mini, even though I can appreciate so many different aspects, I just absolutely love the medium. I think the medium is great, and I guess you can say I've gotten a little carried away when it comes to mini bags within the last year. I can admit that, but the medium I just think is it's classic, it's timeless, and it just speaks to me a little bit more. But again, I know that a lot of people prefer the mini and what that brings to the table, but that's the one that I would choose, the medium over the mini. But I'm curious, for those of you that have the Lady Dior, if you ended up going for the medium, why did you, or the medium, why did you choose the medium? And if you decided to go for the mini, why did you choose that one? Let us know in the comment section down below. I don't think you can go wrong with either, just because they have such amazing details, and the leather is absolutely incredible. And the chain, I have to admit, the chain on the mini, the way that it glistens, oh yeah, I think it's awesome. And I will also have to say one other thing. I think that the mini, remember how I said before that I think that the Lady Dior might be a little too dressed up for my lifestyle? I don't feel the same way about the mini. I feel like the mini might be a little bit more casual. Like it's a little bit easier to incorporate into, I feel like there's something on my face. You can incorporate into a casual wardrobe. So I don't know. But again, I would love to hear your thoughts on the comment section down below. The next two questions are about Louis Vuitton's Epi leather. The first one is from Styled by Gwenny. I don't remember seeing any, but do you have any Louis Vuitton Epi leather pieces? I'm considering an Alma BB in Epi. All right, so yes, I do have one piece in Epi leather. It is this beauty. This is a jewelry case that my lovely friend Monique gifted me. She has the green one and I have the red, but I think that this is so incredibly cute. I've used it many times whenever we travel. So I think that's awesome. Now, when it comes to the Louis Vuitton Alma BB in Epi leather, I think that bag is absolutely stunning. There have been many times in the past that I have thought about possibly wanting to go for the Alma BB in the Epi leather. And I've said it before, Epi leather doesn't get the credit that it deserves, myself included. I am guilty of that. Because in the past, not only have I thought about going for the Alma BB in Epi leather, many moons ago, I also thought about going for a Speedy in the Epi leather. And whenever I ended up going on the Preloved market, I saw that a lot of them had creases along the top, so that kind of deterred me from wanting to move forward. But when it comes to the Alma, because it is so structured, I mean, it's not like ridiculously stiff, but it is a structured handbag. I don't find that it would end up having those creases as much as a Speedy does, just because of the lack of shape that one has compared to the Alma. But The Alma BB, I love that bag. Just the silhouette that that bag has, I think is awesome. I love the fact that you have so many different colors to pick from. It does come with the silver hardware, and which I think is awesome, because the majority of Louis Vuitton pieces do have the gold hardware. So the silver, I think, is a really nice touch. The one that speaks to me the most is the black, because the black, I feel it's so easy to incorporate into any wardrobe. You can dress it up, you can dress it down, and yes, it doesn't come with an adjustable strap. It does come with a removable strap, but I just think that that bag is insanely gorgeous. They have that hot pink that is fabulous as well. They have the teal. I mean, there are so many different colors that you can pick from, but Epi leather in general is ridiculously carefree. It is so durable. It's understated. It doesn't scream in your face. And don't get me wrong, I love monogram and I love logo mania just as much as the next person, but there is something about an understated bag that has so much beauty, and that speaks volumes without it having to be so loud. And for those of you that do have the Alma BB and the Epi leather, how do you find it? Is there anything that you wanted to point out? Whatever the case may be, let us know in the comment section down below. And the second question is from Marty Blitz. Hopefully I said that correctly. What do you think of the Epi line from Louis Vuitton? I don't see much of that leather in your collection. So as I said before, it doesn't get the credit that it deserves. It is incredibly durable. It is carefree. And I do have the jewelry case, but in the past, even though I never had handbags, I did have small leather goods. I had 3 wallets. I had the zippy organizer in black. I also had 2 zippy coin purses. One was in the electric Epi in black, and I also had the regular Epi, and I can't remember the name. I want to say it was raspberry. It wasn't raspberry, but it was actually a little bit more on the purple side. And those 3 wallets, I did have them for a hot minute. I ended up selling the electric Epi first, just because I really didn't like the way that fingerprints looked on the leather. And the other 2, I ended up slowly getting rid of those. But from the moment I had those items to the moment I sold them, they looked exactly the same. With Epi leather, if you go for a handbag that has a little bit more structure, the bag can be 30 years old and it still looks brand new. That's saying something about the material, which I think is fantastic. And as I said before, the fact that the Speedy had those creases deterred me from wanting to add it to my collection. I also wonder if maybe people aren't too fond of the ridges that Epi leather has. That's a characteristic of the leather that makes it a lot more durable. You don't have to worry about scratches necessarily. So I wonder if maybe that's the reason why it's not as popular as, say, vernis is, which in my opinion is a lot more delicate than Epi leather. And maybe it's time I revisit wanting to go for a vintage Speedy once more, because every time I talk about it, my heart starts to flutter a little bit more. So only time will tell if that ends up happening, but I am a huge fan of Epi leather. But I turn to you guys. How do you feel about Epi leather? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Do you like the ridges? Do you like the durability? Do you like how understated it is? Or is it a material that you are just not fond of? Whatever the case may be, let us know in the comment section down below. But styled by Gwenny, if you decide to go for the Alma BB, major congratulations. Next question from Saleh Hassani. Hopefully I said that correctly. Do you think that as we get older, there are handbags that are not appropriate for our age? For example, I've heard that the Valentino Rockstead handbags might not be appropriate for older ladies in their 40s or 50s. I'm turning 50 in a couple of years, and I thought of gifting myself the YSL college bag. It's a bit edgy in my opinion, but I don't care. I just love that bag. What's your opinion? All right, so I know that I've talked about this before, but I feel like age is just a number, and it's all a matter of what you feel here. And I don't think there are age limits when it comes to handbags at all. I know I've heard people say that they think that the Chanel Classic flaps are for mature ladies. I've heard that backpacks are only for teenagers. I disagree with both of those statements. It's all a matter of how you feel here, and how you feel here reflects here. Is it corny? Sure, but ultimately, it comes down to happiness. And if something makes you ridiculously happy, if it makes your heart sing, if it makes your heart flutter, if you feel like you're walking on cloud 9 whenever you have that bag, whether it's a backpack, whether it's a clutch, a tote, or a classic flap, or whatever the case may be, that's all that matters. That happiness, that pep in your step that it adds to your day, I am all for that. So no, I don't think there are limits. I don't think that a bag is only appropriate for a certain age. Not at all. Not at all. I've seen some older ladies using their Palm Springs mini backpacks, and I think they look fabulous. I love the way that they incorporate them into their outfits, and some of them I've seen add twillies or bag charms or change to them, and they give them a little bit more personality, and they make the bag their own, just like I've seen younger ladies with their Chanel classic flaps. And again, their outfits look absolutely amazing. And if I still have my Palm Springs mini or my nanos when I'm 100, you better believe that I'm still gonna be rocking them. I'm gonna look cute too with my gray hair, just being like, "Ooh, check me out, oh yeah." But no, I don't think that handbags have a certain age group by any means whatsoever. So whether it's glitter, whether it's hearts, whether it's mini backpacks, whether it's classic flaps, or whatever the case may be, it all comes down to happiness and being able to just use your bags and have that extra pep in your step to brighten any day. So I say go for the college bag. If it makes your heart sing, if it makes you happy, by all means go for it. And if you do, major congratulations, and you rock it like it's nobody's business, and let your inner Billy Badass come on through. But I turn to you guys. Do you think that there are handbags that should be in certain age groups? Do you think that there should be an age limit for certain bags? Whatever the case may be, let us know in the comment section down below. And the last question from Courtney D. I recently received an email from Gucci advising that select pieces from previous collections were available at a sale price. And so I ended up purchasing the Ophidia Mini leather handbag in navy at 30% off. The SA advised me that the reason for the sale was most likely due to the pandemic, and that the last time the actual Gucci boutiques hosted a sale was about 7 to 8 years ago. Question: have you ever purchased a handbag that wasn't necessarily on your radar, but the price was so great and you knew you'd incorporate it well into your collection that you knew you'd regret not buying it? All right, so first and foremost, major congratulations on your Ophidia. I think that's awesome, especially at that savings. That's fantastic. Okay, so for me, for the most part, it's kind of been the opposite in the sense that I would end up going for something because of the price, but I knew in my heart of hearts that I wouldn't be able to use it, and I was just going for it because of the savings. Of course, I would never admit it at the time. And then the bag just ended up sitting on my shelf for months or years. So for the most part, that's been the case. However, there is one bag that stands out that I hadn't done as much research on as I normally would have when it comes to other handbags that have made it to my collection or to my wish list. But the moment I saw it, I fell in love with it, and that is the Celine Phantom. If I have a picture, I will incorporate it, but the Celine Phantom came home with me when we were in Italy, and I just thought that bag was just stunning. Absolutely stunning. And the price difference between getting it in Italy versus buying it here in the States was a huge difference. And I just knew, that if I walked away and if that bag didn't come home with me, that I would have regretted it for sure. Now, I ended up having the Celine Phantom for, I want to say 3 years, something like that. And I ultimately ended up selling it, but that bag made me so incredibly happy. The leather, the structure, the silhouette. Oh, it was awesome. Unfortunately, it was a very big bag. And because I have zero control when it comes to what I put into larger handbags, that bag was heavy. It was so heavy, but I just thought it was insanely gorgeous. So yeah, that's the one that stands out the most. I don't think that there's another one out there that I can think of as of right now, but the Celine takes the cake for for the one that I knew in my gut instinct was going to work out at the time, even though I ended up selling it later on. But I'm curious, what about you guys? Has there been a handbag out there that you hadn't researched, or maybe it wasn't on your radar and you decided to go for it because of the savings, and it ended up being one of the best decisions that you've ever made? Or even if it wasn't, that you knew that you'd be able to incorporate it into your collection or into your lifestyle, whether it's for a couple of months or a couple of years, whatever the case may be, let us know in the comment section down below. But again, major congratulations on your Ophidia. All right, guys, so that does it for Minks Monday Q&A. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope I was able to help. You guys had some awesome questions this week. I don't know what I'm gonna do for the second video, if I do a second video. So give me some suggestions if you would like on the comment section down below, some things that you would like me to film. I know that there are a couple of comparisons that some of you guys have asked for, and those I will try to do within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I kind of want to have a fun, a lighthearted video, nothing too crazy. But again, let me know your, if you want to, let me know your suggestions on the comment section down below. But again, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys later. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not, the choice is yours. Have a great day.